Yokoso! Welcome to the digital series of NextGen Geijutsuka. This series celebrates the next generation of talented artists who practice a variety of Japanese cultural arts, have made them their own, and play an important role in sharing the beauty of these art forms with the wider world. Our fifth and final Geijutsuka, or artist, is Kabuki Buyo performer Bandō Hirohichiro from Los Angeles. Welcome! He is joined by a very special guest, Bando Now, who is also joining us from Tokyo, Japan. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Bandō Hirohichiro, also known as Kirk Kanesaka, began his Japanese classical dance training at the age of 3. All his life, he was inspired by his grandmother, Mary Sugino, to keep Japanese traditions alive in America. At 17, he received his natori, equivalent to a master's degree, from the Bando School of Japanese Dance, and headmaster Bando Mitsugorō IX granted him the professional name of Hirohichiro. He later received his shihan, equivalent to a Ph.D, from Bando Mitsugorō X, and opened studios called Bandō Ryū Kyō in California to teach future generations Japanese classical dance as the official US representative of the Bando School. And what's also very special about Bandō Hirohichiro is that he became the first non-Japanese citizen to become a professional kabuki actor in the theater's over 400-year history, which is a very long time. He is the apprentice of a current living national treasure, kabuki actor Sakura Tojiro IV, and performs under the name of Nakamura Gankyo. He has performed in all major kabuki theaters in Japan and has traveled all over the world to perform and teach. So we're very excited to have him here tonight. And our special guest, Bando Now, will join Bandō Hirohichiro in the first performance. Bando Now is the eldest daughter of the late kabuki actor and headmaster of the Bando School, Bando Mitsugorō X, and like Hirohichiro, Bando Now has also began her training at 3 years old. So there's apparently a great time to start Japanese classical dance, and it's 3 years old. So parents, get your 3-year-olds out there. For our first performance, Bando Now and Bandō Hirohichiro will perform Kyomoto Sakura. Afterwards, we'll talk with Bando Now about the piece, and if you have questions for her, please submit them via Facebook Live. That was beautiful. And we're lucky to have Bando Now with us. Thank you again for joining us from Tokyo. And konnichiwa, because it's the afternoon for you.
Yes, konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. So Bando Now, tell me, who composed the dance we just watched, and what is the piece about? And what are you thinking about while you perform this piece?
Okay, my father, Bandō Mitsugorō the 10th, created this dance. As the title Sakura suggests, a young girl is enjoying the full blooms of cherry blossoms on a warm spring day. When my father choreographed his dance, it was his wish to create a dance that even a beginner can enjoy learning. In addition, Sakura was composed shortly after the passing of my grandfather, Bandō Mitsugorō the 9th, who had passed away on April 1st, 1999. And for me, I have danced Sakura a number of times. Each time I try to recall the young innocence of a girl joyfully playing under the full blooms of the cherry blossoms. I would be thrilled if the viewers are transported through my dance to a warm spring day in a flower field with the cherry blossom in full bloom.
Yes, you are definitely transported. And I especially love the fan motion of the sakura falling. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So your father, Bandō Mitsugorō X, was also a very famous kabuki and movie actor, as well as the headmaster of the Bandō School of Japanese classical dance. So what was it like for you growing up in a celebrity household, and what was your father like as a teacher?
Okay. My childhood was actually fairly normal, like any household, but except my father was rarely home because my father was very busy performing all the time. But I remember eating a lot of delicious foods. But really, it was a normal family life. As for my father's lessons in Japanese dance, for the both of us, it was like flipping a switch. From the moment we both changed into our practice kimono and entered the studio, we were no longer father and daughter, but rather master and disciple. Because we made this distinction, my father was very strict during practice. So I can recall how nervous I was during my lessons with him.
Yes, I mean, a lot of family legacy, and you definitely have to, when you perform, transform yourself and transform your state of mind. So I can understand that. We have a Facebook Live question for you. What is your favorite dance? Do you have a favorite dance?
Yeah, actually, I like all songs, like in Japanese classical dance. I love it, but especially, for example, for example, beginner watching our dance, and then they can understand and then they feel like, wow, that's beautiful. Oh, so nice. So it was like a very beautiful costume, colorful, and then song is very nice. So I love that. I want to show to beginner.
Right. Any dance that gets the viewer excited about Japanese classical dance and brings them in. So my last question for you is, what would you like to tell a new generation, maybe some 3-year-olds out there, or any dancers of any age living in America who want to start to learn Japanese classical dance?
Okay. I will often hear that because Japanese classical dance is slow compared to ballet, it is very simple, isn't it? But I think if a child who is watching Japanese dance, it may seem difficult. To me, there are two main points for Japanese dance. First, the choreography. Second, the flow or rhythm of the choreography. Japanese dance does not use counts like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And therefore, the rhythm can differ from dancer to dancer. As you saw, sometimes the timing between Hirohichirō-san and myself is a little bit different based upon our interpretations. But what is important is utilizing the whole timing in the music through your movement in order to make sure that the movements are all connected. Otherwise, your dancing will be choppy and ungraceful. You must express the emotions using your whole body. Also, the slow movements in Japanese dance is actually harder than fast choreography. An important aspect to Japanese dance is keeping our center of gravity lower or to the ground by bending our knees. While keeping our center lower, we often move into the next pose, which is actually very difficult and strenuous on your legs.
So it's good to start when you're young.
Yeah, so hard.
Well, yes, and it is clear how connected and flowing your movements have to be, especially to such slower tempos, and you two danced beautifully together. Thank you so much for being here. And we have our second performance featuring Bandō Hirohichiro, who is performing a special number reuniting some of our other Geijutsuka from previous episodes of the series. First, Kuniharu Yoshida is performing Shodo, or calligraphy, and the music has been performed by Brian Mitsuhiro Wong on koto, and our show producer, Shirley Kazuyo Muramoto, is actually on shamisen and vocals, which is amazing. So here is our second performance, Matsuno Midori, or the Green of the Pine. And if you have questions for Bandō Hirohichiro after this, please submit them via Facebook Live. So that was an amazing collaboration featuring so many of our Geijutsuka and Shirley and Bandō Hirohichiro. The first question I would like to ask you is, what is the character in the calligraphy that Kuni created for your stage? And what significance did that add to your performance?
Well, this is a great question. One of the things that when we first was talking, when I was talking with Kuni and also the film producer, Ken Honjo, is that I wanted something that it feels like we're projecting it into the universe. And of course, thinking about what Matsuno Midori means, Kuni actually came up with sho or tobu, to kind of fly or leap or jump. And part of this is, again, thinking about generations and thinking about the future generations, but also the past generations, and all those artists that came before us who sacrificed a lot and went through a lot so that we can be here today, following in their footsteps. And so trying to think about linking all these generations together. This, for example, the calligraphy on the ground is actually an homage to the artistic director at Japan American Cultural Community Center, Mr. Kosaka, Hirokazu Kosaka sensei, because he actually, I think in the 80s, he showed me a picture of a performance that he did where he actually wrote calligraphy on the ground and used it as part of the stage. So I wanted to pay homage to him by also incorporating that type of concept into this particular piece. But also, I mean, my grandmother, she passed away shortly before turning to 102. And one of her last wishes was that she wanted to watch me one more time, and she didn't care. She was going to break out of the care home to come watch it. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So I'm hoping that, she's from up above, she's looking down, watching this. And that's one of the reasons why also I wanted these kind of aerial shots to, again, represent that we're projecting this to the world, into the universe for the future generations, connecting both past, future together.
I love that. I love all of that significance you are dancing upon. That's so beautiful. And so tell us a little bit more about Matsuno Midori. Tell us a little bit more about the song and the story you were telling through your movement.
So actually, I was really nervous because Matsuno Midori is one of those iconic pieces that a lot of dance schools use as their exam to become a natori. So I know there's a lot of senpais out there watching, and I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not going to screw this up. But it has, the significance is Matsuno Midori means kind of the evergreen pine tree, but there's actually a play on words. And so when the composer, Kineya Rokusaburo IV, composed this, he had composed it for kind of a congratulatory wish for his daughter, who just became a natori or achieved her professional name for nagauta, for the genre of music. And so Midori means green, but it was also a very common name that was used by the kamuro or the courtesan apprentice, these little girls that would eventually grow into becoming a high-ranking courtesan. So there's interwoven within the lyrics is how Rokusaburo wanted his daughter's career and future to grow from just kind of a very young seedling, like a matsu, or from a very young apprentice girl, and growing into this very elaborate, life of the courtesan. And so this particular dance is something that again, we all are very familiar with, but also one of the things that I remember is talking over with the 10th Bando Mitsugorō, whenever we had a break in between performing on stage at the theater or just conversing with him and learning and having practice from him. One of the things that he told me towards kind of a couple months before he passed was, kaku. So he always called me very informally by my first name. So kaku, ore ni tsuite koi. So, come with me, like follow me in my footsteps, right? That's one of the things that he told me. And so again, thinking about generations and linking and growing, right? Of course, I'll never become a great dancer like the 10th headmaster, but I hope that I can even come close, 1/8 in my life to his talents. And so again, those are all these feelings in this. And in this particular piece, Muramoto sensei is converted to juta, which is a different type of genre than nagauta. So again, I'm dancing this in a very different style. It's very kansai style. It's very softer than what we would normally do if it's a nagauta piece.
Okay, well, it was beautiful. And we have time for one Facebook Live question that is, how long has this style of dance been around? Can you give us a brief capsule?
Wow, that's such a hard question. And a fantastic question. So actually, the term Nihon Buyo, or Japanese classical dance, is actually quite recent. It's a term that was conceived during the Meiji period, so after the end of the early modern period, so sometime in the late 1800s to early 1900s. So Japanese classical dance is quite, actually, the genre itself is new. The term, actually, Kabuki Buyo, though, goes back to about mid 1600s, when the Kabuki actors, especially onagata, the female impersonators, started to highlight themselves by performing it on the stage.
Amazing. There's so much to learn about this beautiful art, and thank you for sharing those two beautiful pieces with us. We'd like to right now just take a short break for a message from a place that will make your mouth water, I promise.
We're here to welcome you to Benkyodo, a third-generation business here in the heart of Japantown on 1747 Buchanan Street and Sutter. The shop has been in operation all these 114 years, except from 1942, when the Okamura family, along with 120,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans, were forcibly removed and incarcerated in 10 American concentration camps during World War II. The company was restarted in 1952 under the present owner's father, Shirofumi Okamura, and in 1959, the store located to its present location here at 1747 Buchanan. The handmade mochi and manju are what Benkyodo are renowned for. For 3 generations, Benkyodo has produced these delicious Japanese pastries made from rice flour sweetened with water and sugar, steamed into a sticky substance, and filled with sweet beans, either azuki red beans or lima white beans. There are about 13 to 15 different kinds of mochi manju that are made at the store throughout the week. And we hope that you will come and visit us at Benkyodo, confections that win affections. And please do look at our website at benkyodo.com.
Oishiso! Benkyodo has my affection. I love their slogan. So tomorrow morning, I hope everyone calls up and gets their mochi and manju. Let's support our cultural shops like Benkyodo and their owners and all of the shops that we've been happy to promote and spread the word about on this show, because they play such a special role in perpetuating Japanese culture and tradition, and we want that to carry on. And so in our last performance of our NextGen Geijutsuka series, we wanted to thank everyone for watching, and I ask you to dance with us because this is a dance episode. We got the entire cast and production crew to also submit their own virtual Obon dance to Niji, or Rainbow, led by Reiko Iwanaga, aka Hanayagi Reinichi. And again, it's our way to honor our special dancer guest artists, and thank you all. So please, everyone, just stand up and join us for the next 3 minutes from wherever you are. question was, do you prefer one or the other? And Bando Now, I'll ask you first.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I like boy dances because it's like so dynamic, and then most of songs is like fast tempo choreography. So that I took earlier. So first choreography is easier than slow tempo. So but my form is so thin. So actually, it's not suit for me. So yeah, basically I danced girls dance, but both I like.
Yes, it's fun to, so male roles sometimes have the faster, more dynamic roles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe modern Japanese dance will change that a little bit. And how about Bandō Hirohichiro? How about you? Do you have a preference of which roles you like to play?
So I'm actually quite the opposite from Nao-san. I'm very kind of wide and big. So I actually prefer now tachiyaku, which is male roles. But I'm trained also in the kamigata style, which is the Osaka and Kyoto style. And we don't get actually assigned to one like onagata, female roles or male roles. So we actually have to train in both because we believe that for men, there has to be this kind of eroticness, sensuality to it. You can't just be, macho. And then for female roles, you can't just be ultra feminine. You have to have some strength in you and guide you in your movement. So we actually have to cross train in both. But I think for me, one of the most special dances is actually the maiden at Dojoji Temple, Kyokanoko Musume Dojoji, because that is actually one of the very last pieces that Mitsugorō the 10th practiced for me. And it was very, very special, very hard. I remember too, like Nao-san said earlier, right? Very, very scary, but it was one of the most memorable lessons, yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, hopefully in the future, we'll be able to see you perform that somewhere. It's our final presentation. I can't believe it. It's over, but thank you both for joining us tonight live. And thank you so much to everyone out there who has watched and supported this concert series and tuned in every week. We so appreciate you. And we would love for you to share this series with others because they are posted after the fact and you can share them and have people view them on Facebook and YouTube and help us further our mission to preserve the Japanese cultural arts and support our local Japan towns and our Japanese businesses because they're so, so important. And if you would like to see more programs like this, we'd love to hear from you. You can visit our Facebook page or the nextgenjca.com website, and we have a short survey that you can fill out to let us know what you thought, and also subscribe to receive future program updates. And if we're lucky, maybe Shirley will come up with more series. So arigato to also all the other Geijutsuka we featured live here on the show. And you can get more information about them on our website, including their social media handles, so you can follow them and see what they're up to as they continue to create more work. And none of this, of course, would have been possible without Shirley Muramoto, who envisioned this as a way for all of us to come together and celebrate the arts, even though we couldn't all be in the same room to enjoy them. And before we say goodbye, I'd love for Bando Now and Bando Hirohichiro to be able to give a short message to their friends and family.
Okay, first me?
Yeah.
皆様ご覧いただきましてありがとうございました。Thank you for watching, everyone. And I'm so glad to join this program. So thank you for inviting me this program. Thank you, Hirohichiro-san. And then, yeah, I hope to see you soon again. But yeah. Please enjoy our performance and then thank you for watching.
Wonderful. And Bando Hirohichiro.
So first off, I really do want to say thank you to, Muramoto Sensei, because without her and during this kind of weird times, it was very unshaky. Her dedication brought us all together, just as Lauren, you mentioned just earlier. But I really thank you very much for this opportunity because again, we are dabbling into somewhere that's new with the internet. And so I really, really thank her for this opportunity. I also want to thank our headmaster, Bando Minosuke, who gave his blessings and allowed us, both Nao-san and myself, to dabble into this kind of new territory and expanding the way that we can present things, especially Japanese classical dance. And I believe probably this is the first collaboration for Japanese dance that is trans-Pacific, from Tokyo and here. So, again, because of Minosuke-san's, great insight into the future and allowing us to do this, I'm very, very grateful. It really shows, how much he is envisioning the future of Japanese classical dance. And of course, I want to thank my family, of course, my grandmother, unfortunately, hopefully she's enjoying this from up above, but also my immediate family, and not just my immediate family, but my friends, and of course, my students. Without my students, who's always listening to all my demands and criticism and, coming to practice, I couldn't be here today without them. So I really, really thank them from the very bottom of my heart. And of course, you, the viewers, without your support, both Nao-san and I, we wouldn't be here either. So again, we both thank you from the very bottom of our hearts for supporting the arts and supporting us.
Absolutely. And thank you again for joining us. And to all of you, I hope you have learned so much about the Japanese cultural arts and will continue to seek them out. It has been an absolute pleasure being your host. Many thanks, final thanks to the San Francisco Japantown Foundation and Berkeley Japanese American Citizen League for making this program possible, and the many amazing people behind the scenes, technician Alex Sinclair, social media guru Akiko Takashima, video producer and editor Ken Honjo, and our tech consultant, Bob Wong, and so many other people who've made this possible. We have had a blast. We hope you have to go out and fill that survey. We'd love to hear from you and hope to see you again. Mata ne!